Whether you're coating, whether you're calendaring, laminating, delaminating, printing, also different cutting processes, whether you're laser cutting, die cutting or slitting, all of these processes, as they run through these different production stages, are often prone to then picking up static charges. And linked with that, also, they pick up contamination. Our focus is removing those troublesome charges, removing the static and contamination, sometimes adding static charges to assist with the process, but working with the different machinery manufacturers, the end customers, using our expertise and helping them achieve their yields. Static is often overlooked, it's often misunderstood. If there is static in a continuous process line, you can have operator shocks. You can have sparks, so that can be a hazard in terms of igniting potential flammable environment. A spark can damage that material, so you can have a pinhole. Now think of packaging, keeping produce fresh. You've then got a product spoiling. You can actually have an effect on the material flow if it's statically charged. It might be too tight, it might start to wrinkle, it cannot run through a continuous high-speed process line. Another issue with static is if you have a material that's charged, it can attract airborne particles that are of the opposite polarity, pulling in contamination. So not only do you then have static problems, but you have contamination issues, which can cause an array of different problems. So there are causes such as friction. So if you've got an insulative material against another insulative material, you're transferring electrons, and that's actually then creating one material with a certain polarity, one with another. Other examples, separation. If you're actually separating materials, we can all relate to separating that cling film. Immediately there's a large amount of charges. It's just the same in the converting industry. Also, as a process progresses through from one stage to another, you're actually seeing those materials transfer through friction, and gradually those charges can build and build, and we often see charges as high as 200,000 volts on a material, if not higher. Other factors are high speeds in the process. The higher the speed, the higher the static charge can be generated. And then the other thing is during the day, you can have changes in temperatures, humidity. So for example, as the day progresses, it's warming, but also the heat generated from the equipment in these industrial environments changes that environment. So that's another factor. We offer a range of solutions for this industry, starting with traditional AC technology, but in the main and growing much faster now is the programmable DC technology, where we can adjust the frequency, for distance, we can adjust the polarity depending on the materials, and we can adjust the voltage depending on the environment that it's in. We've also got specialist solutions. We've got EX bars for EX zone operations. We've got hygienic bars for regular washdowns, and we've got bars that are for use in extremely high temperatures. We've got issues where in the converting industry you may have materials that need to be temporarily held together. So that's really challenging in automation. You might have to glue it or have some sort of temporary holding device. But you can use static generation. It can be automatic, controlled, very efficient and very quick. So it's no longer a limiting challenge within the automation process. You've also got applications in the converting industry where you're wanting to insert sheets into the next process stage. You can use static pinning to hold it there when it's actually been inserted. Things like inspection. You need to hold something in a very precise position in an exact location for it to be optically inspected and under high resolution. Hold it with static generation, it can be inspected and then moved on to the next process. Another really useful and important benefit of using static generation is you can actually detect pinholes in the continuous web. So that's really useful if you're manufacturing really important sealing. Imagine the food industry, where you must keep products fresh, or the pharmaceutical industry, for example, or separator films in the battery market. You do not want to see a pinhole in that material. So it will actually detect that, and it can even count the number of perforations in that process line. We offer two very specialized static generators for continuous use in the high-speed converting industry. IC30 and IC50, so 30 kilovolts and 50 kilovolt static charge generation. With these, they have a standard touchscreen control, so completely programmable. They have perforation detection, so they can detect any holes in continuous materials. And you can connect two static generation bars or static generator heads to each of those chargers.